everyone, and welcome to Python Basics. Now today we're going to cover arithmetic operations and arithmetic methods. Okay, so let's hop onto our Jupyter notebook. Okay, so I'm onto my Jupyter notebook, and now we're going to start with arithmetic operations. So what they are, they're just like the normal operations we use in real life, except some of them aren't in real life and some of them have different symbols. Okay, so let's go through the simplest ones. So I'm going to define two variables. So A equals 11 and B equals 2. Okay, so I've got my two variables, and let's start with a really simple one. So we can just put A plus B. You don't always need to write A plus B. What you can do is you can put these in brackets and then put print A plus B, and it will still give the same answer as A plus B. So we've got 13 and 13, but I'm just going to represent it as A plus B to make this video a bit quick and cutty. So okay. Now we're going to go on to another simple one, since we just learned how to add. It's really simple, believe me. And now we're just going to do A minus B. And we get 9, because 11 minus 2 is 9. Okay, so now we learned how to add and subtract. Well, we would have already known that, but now we've learned how to do it. We can now go on to how to multiply. So now I told you this in the previous video, but let's recap it anyway. So let's do A times B. I'm sure some of you have remembered this from the previous video. So A times B, we get 22, because 11 times 2 is 22. Okay, now let's go on to how to divide. But this time it's a different symbol, just like multiplication. So we'll do A and then a forward slash and B. So A divided by B, 5.5, because you can't do 11 divided by 2 and get a whole number. So if you want to get your answer as a whole number, then you can put 2 forward slashes. Let me show you that. Okay, so I'll just define my variables again. So A, that's 11, B, that's 2. Okay, cool. So now let's divide our thing again. So let's put A, 2 forward slashes this time, and then B. Notice that our 5.5 has turned into a 5, because we asked Python interpreter to divide our calculation and turn the answer into a whole number. Okay, so now we've learnt these 5 methods. We've got 2 more to learn, and this one is, most of you probably know, it's the power method. So you might not recognize that at first, but let's do this. So we'll do A, 2 asterisks, and then B. So we got 121. That's because I asked Python interpreter to print out A to the power of B, and B is 2. So what I asked Python interpreter to do was to square 11, because, yeah. So let me show you another one, a clearer one. So let's do 4 to the power of 3, and we get 64, and that is correct. So basically finding the power. So instead of putting that tiny little 2, so like 4 and then a tiny 2 instead of like this, then we just put 4 and then 2 asterisks and then 3. Okay, now we've got one more method to go. So this one, it shows the remainder after it does a calculation. So it's part of division. So let me show you again. A, mod, because our method is called mod, and then B. So it gave us the remainder, because 11 divided by 2, you won't get a whole number, but the remainder is 1. So it gave us that. Let's try this again. 5 mod 3. Whoops, sorry. That wasn't supposed to be a slash. 5 mod 3. and we get 2 because that's correct. Okay, so now we've done this, I'm going to show you something else. So Python interpreter uses BODMAS when it calculates a question. So let me show you a calculation. So let's do 6 plus 7 to the power of 9, and you get this huge number over here. Okay, so let's do it step by step now. So what Python interpreter did, it did our powers first, because that's the order in BODMAS. You do powers first. No, you do brackets first and then the powers. So it did, there were no brackets, so it did the powers. And let's calculate this step by step. So we'll do 7 to the power of 9. And we get this number. It looks similar, but it actually isn't, because this is a 13 and this is a 7. So now let's add our 6 to it. So let's put, let's just copy and paste this number. Okay, so I pasted it. And now I'm going to add 6. And I get the exact same answer as I got for this calculation over here. Okay, so similar to BODMAS again, you can add brackets in your calculations, okay? So we can tell Python interpreter, instead of doing 7 to the power of 9 and then adding 6, we could tell Python interpreter to we put brackets, and then we're telling our Python interpreter to do 6 plus 7, and then we want that to be times to 6 plus 7 to the power of 9. Okay, and we get a different number this time, and it's way bigger because 6 plus 7 is 13 to the power of 9. Okay, so I'm sure you understood that. Go ahead and do a couple of examples, and then we'll move on to the next section. Okay, see you there. Okay, welcome back everybody. So now we're doing arithmetic methods. Okay, so these are different. So remember in the previous video when I showed you string methods where we did dot upper and dot lower, this is similar. But first we need to write this. Import math, not maths. And then we run that. And we don't get any output because we are importing a module from Python, and this math module will let us access all these arithmetic methods, but I'm just going to cover a few, okay? So I'll show you the first one. Let's define 2 variables first. Actually, no, we don't need to do that. We'll just write our method first. So we need to write math dot ceil, so short for ceiling, and then brackets, and I'll just think up of a random number, 5.6, and notice it gave us 6 because math.ceil means to find the highest possible whole number that the given number can be rounded to. So let's say we round a number, obviously this will still round to 6, but if we define another method called math.floor and you put the same number in, then notice we've got 5. So now now Python interpreter gave us the lowest possible whole number that the given number can be rounded to. Okay, so let's try a few more. So let me think of another number. So math.ceil again, and I'll put 6.2 this time, and it gave us 7 because we asked for the ceiling because we asked for the highest possible whole number. And let's do math.floor and put 7.2. Put 6.2 in again, and we get 6. Okay, so I'm sure you understood that. Okay, now there's another method, and it's called abs, not the 6-pack abs people normally wish for sometimes. But this is the abs is short for absolute. So if we call this method, so abs, it should come in green, and then we put a negative number, 9.1. It gives us 9.1 instead of minus 9.1. Okay, because it's returning the absolute value. So absolute in Python kind of means positive, not negative. Let's try this again. So abs, and then we'll do 9, and it gave us 9 because there was no need to put it in the abs function. Okay, so there's another one. It's kind of in the abs section, a bit like it's kind of in the floor and seal section, but except this method is called round, so it rounds it normally. So we'll just call this so round, and then brackets, and then let's put 9.1 in again, and we get 9. So it rounded normally. Okay, let's put another number, round, and then brackets, and let's put 6.7, and there we go, we get 7. So there's another method you can do with round. So let's type round in again in brackets, and this time I'm just going to type in an extra long number with a lot of decimal spaces. So let's do 6, 7, 8, 9, and then you can put a comma and write how many decimal spaces you want your number rounded to. So in this case, I only want it rounded to 2 decimal spaces, and there we go. It gives me 5.68. So it rounded it, and then it gave me my answer to 2 decimal spaces. Okay, so these are all the methods that you need to know for now. And there is a really nice website, and you type in mathematical functions, Python 3 whatever version, documentation. So you type in mathematical functions, and there we go. Here are all the mathematical functions you can get from the math module. So go ahead and check that out. I won't cover any of these anymore, so because that would take too long. So you can go ahead and check these out, and there's actually quite a few, so you might want to have some bit time to yourself. Okay, so that's it for today's video. Please subscribe, and if you have any doubts, please comment below. Okay, bye.